Have you ever heard of a man that got defeated by colonists easily? Well, today you will. Hi, I'm Jana. I was born in London, 1722. I joined the army at 18 years old. My wife died. I had 2 children. I left the army. The army forced me back and to take care of 7,000 troops. I lost two-thirds of my group, and I only had one troop to fight with, and I lost. After when I lost, I made it 2 shows. One was successful and one was super tough. And then I died in this 1992 at the end.
I am brave. I helped the army be with me. I born on 1742 in India, where I learned to read and write. I come to American to work as a servant. I got married and moved to the forest. During the
Revolution.
I helped the Americans by being a spy. I got information about the enemies and took it back to the Americans. I just like a man fighting in battles. Some people call me Mad Annie because I had a bad temper. I died in 1825 at the age of 83. I was the moment of helping to get information about the British. And but also I helped when battles against the Native Americans. Thank you.
Have you ever heard of the First Lady of a Brand New Country? Well, today you will. I am Martha Washington. I was born on June 13, 1731 in New Kent County, Virginia. I had never dreamed of being the first lady of a brand new country. I'm the oldest of 7 children. I have 3 brothers and 4 sisters. My brothers' names are Bartholomew, William, and Francis. My sisters' names are Anne, Anna, Elizabeth, and Mary. During the Revolutionary War, I helped raise money to aid the Continental Army, and I even arranged for the officers to have their laundry to be washed, dried, and ironed. And I prayed with members of men's families. I died on May 13th, 1802, and I am remembered because I was the first lady of a brand new country.
Fire to King George III, 'cause I made all of you pay my taxes. I was born June 4, 1763. I had a disease that caused me to be deaf, blind, and would also cause me to lose my mind. I learned German when I was 8 years old, and I was soon to learn French. I was 10 when I learned to read. I became king 1760 in the middle of a war between French and the British. The war stopped 1763. The colonists were mad at me because of all the taxes I placed on them. I got married September 8, 1761. I had 15 children, 9 boys, 6 girls. I died January 4th, not January, 1763. I died in Windsor Castle. I had 2 monuments, but the colonists were so mad at me that they tore them down. Thank you. Have you ever sneaked the messages without anyone knowing? If you have, you are just like me. Lydia Barrington Lodge. I was born in 1729. I was a pacifist. A pacifist is someone who wanted peace. I was also in the military checkpoint. I spied on British troops and I defied the British officers. I was a patriot. A patriot is someone who is not loyal to King George III and that does not like the taxes. I was married to William Barrington and I had 5 kids. I died on December 28, 1789. People remember me because I won a medal. Did you know this about me, that I sneak messages into buttons and that I was helping the Patriots win?
Hi, my name is Susie Livingston, and I was born in the 1700s. And I was the oldest of 3 daughters. Me and my sisters were so beautiful, we all 3 were known as the 3 Graces. My dad was a lawyer. My dad was the governor of New Jersey. And I kept secret information from the redcoats. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Major General Charles Lee. I was born in February 6, 1731. And I was a major American general in the British Army. And I was friends with George Washington. Me and him were best friends. And I brought my dogs everywhere I went because everybody did not like me. Everybody disliked me. And I died October, I forget the date, 1782. Thank you.
My real name is Hannah White Arnett. I was an only child, and I was married to Isaac Arnett, and I had 3 children that all died as babies. And I gave a speech at 1774. And when I did, it was like I gave a speech to a group of patriots that were going to switch to loyalists. And I was threatened to lose my husband because they were going to agree to what the army people said. And that's all.
Have you ever heard of the Boston Tea Party? Well, I was the person who led the Sons of Liberty onto a ship called the Dartmouth to throw Chesterfield into the harbor. My name is Samuel Adams. I was born on September 22nd, 1722 in Quincy, Massachusetts. My father's name was Deacon Adams. When I was 14 years old in 1736, I joined Harvard University. In 1743, I graduated with a law degree. In the American Revolution, I threw 342 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor in 1763. I served as governor from 1794 to 1797. 1793 to 1797. I had a second cousin named John Adams. Of course, he was the second president. And then I was a patriot. In 1803, I died, sadly. How you would remember me is by looking into the Declaration of Independence. Thank you.
I'm Christmas Actus. My real name is just Christmas Actus. I have a wife and kids. I died in the American Revolution. I'm 6 feet and 2 inches tall. I was born in 1723. My place of birth was Framingham, Massachusetts.
Have you ever heard of Benjamin Franklin? Well, today you will. I had 17 brothers and sisters, and I was an inventor as a kid. And I had to drop out of school at age 10 because my parents couldn't afford it. Next. I was a representative in 1775, and you can still remember me on the $100 bill or the Declaration of Independence. Have you heard of the French general in the Revolutionary War? Then I'll tell you about me. I am Marquis de Lafayette, and I was born in 1757 with my siblings, Mitchell de Lafayette. My parents, Mary de Lafayette and Marquis de Lafayette. And before my second birthday, my dad died, sadly. And shoot. And I forgot something. In the Battle of Brandywine, I got shot in the leg, and it was September 1777, and I rejoined Washington next month, which was September of that year. And I gave a speech for people's freedom so they don't have to get obeyed by King George III. I'm a good friend to George Washington also.
And I died on May 20th, 1857, I think that is. People remember me because I gave their speech for their freedom from King George III.
I was a Bergen. I was 26 years old. I was for years. And picture, I was a spy. I was born WBCS 1960, so 79. I was one of the children, and George III also got arrested at the Royal Confession. And in the American Revolution, I also had the Patriot prisoners, and as there was a war coming, it was Frederick Rich versus Boston, and also in the war there's fighting, kicking, and punching. In my personal life, during the Patriots, and I also like to help others, even though I had no parents. And George III also got arrested. In jail, he wrote, "Going recommended." I collected all those through 1787. Dimes must disappear after 1787 I collected.
I'm George Roger Clark, and if you never heard of me, today's your day to hear of me. I was born in 1752, Charlottesville, Virginia. I was the Patriot because I wanted to lead the Army, and in 1752, again, I wanted to become a surveyor. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Olivia, and I rode through the town telling people the Patriots were coming. I rode my horse fast all over the countryside to tell people to get ready for war. I was born in April 1734. I was the second born child. I went to North Riding School when I was 7 years old until 13. I liked school. April 15, 1775. I named my family's famous night ride to warn the Patriots the British were coming. When I was 17 years old, I took over the family's business, and as a silversmith, I made silverware, mugs, plates. My business was well known all over Boston. I died at 1818 at the age of 82. I was most famous for warning the Patriots that the British were coming so the British could appear.
Hi, my name is Alexander Hamilton. If you haven't heard of me, today's your lucky day. I'll teach you about me. I was born in 1757, January 11th, and I grew up with not so much money, but my parents did have some money. But we did move to New York when I was a teenager, so I could go to college also so my parents can have a new home. In 1780, I got married to Elizabeth Schuyler, and in 1787, I wrote the federal papers which had 58 essays inside of it. I died in 1804 and in a in a duel with Arianne, and I was remembered by a statue in New York and also by an almost 3-hour-long musical by people in New York City. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is John Adams. I was the second president of the United States. I was born on October 3rd, 1735. I was born in Brantley, Massachusetts. I was born a farmer. I did not like going outside that much because I like going outdoors and hunting. Sooner I became a lawyer. When I graduated school, I went back to school. I got married to Abigail Adams. We had 3 kids. Before we got married, we used to write notes back and forth, and sometimes I would ignore them. And I defeated John Hancock. I died on April 5th, 1754. Thank you.
Imagine betraying the potential army. That's me, Benedict Army. I was born in 1776. No, 16. Are you kidding me? 1641. I was known when I was younger for my good looks and for being strong. I joined the army. I ran away when I was only 15 to join the army. I was a major general for the Potential Army, but I betrayed the Potential Army because I was sending secret letters to the England for money, the British to money, because I needed to pay off my gambling debts. I married Margaret Mansfield in 1756. We had 3 kids, but she died just 8 years after we got married in 1764. I died in 1801, and I'm remembered for being a traitor.
Have you ever heard of the German soldier who got fired from his job? My name is Brycyn. I spent most of my life from born to the age of 10 with my dad, a military man stationed in Russia. I was born on September 1730. I trained in the Army to march over the floor. I love the Army. I was a patriot. I died on Friday, November 28th. You can find my statue in Washington, D.C.
I am Charles Lee. My nickname is Blowing Water. I look like a strawberry when I'm mad. I hate my name. Born in Wales in 1731, Dad was a British officer. They thought I would be a good officer. I think I would be good. I think taxes should go down because I don't like people yelling. Work with Indians. I have a temper, so they called me Boiling Water. Died in 1782 when I was 49. Died of old age. There is a museum with artifacts and pictures of my life. Thank you.
Good job, Harley.
Imagine being an important military leader, getting wounds and still fighting in war. Well, that's exactly what I did. My name is Anthony Wayne. I was born on January 1st, 1745. I lived in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. I was a tanner, surveyor, and a farmer before I joined the Army. And I was an important military leader after the American Revolution. I joined the Army in 1776, and I retired the Army in 1783. I became a civilian in Pennsylvania in 1792. I died in 1796, and people remember me because I won against the fallen embers. Thank you.
Good job.
Imagine when you were 18 years old, you joined the Army and fighting for your home, because that is what I did, and my name was Justus. I was born in London in 1722, and I went to school at Westminster School. When I was 15 years old, I was in the Horse Guard. They called me Gentleman Johnny because I dressed really fancy and I was a gambler. Gambler means a person who bets on races, and I lost a lot of money doing that. When I was 21 years old, I got married, then we moved to France. Then I joined the British Army. On October 1777, I was forced to surrender to serve to the Colonel General Gates at Sortego. I died in 1792, and I was buried at Woodminster Abbey beside many famous constituents.
Good job, Trystan.
Imagine having to deal with war. Well, that's what I did. And I'm a patriot. My name is Alexander Hamilton. I was born July 11th, 1757. I wasn't a general, but I helped people become successful. My dad abandoned me when I was 13 years old. At 17, I was a public speaker on the Patriot side. I was a clerk. I was very poor, but I worked hard. I studied military tactics. I died at the age 49, 1804. Ehrenberg killed me in a duel battle.
Do you know who is on the quarter? It's me, George Washington. I was born in 1735. And when I was 26 years old, I lost my job. And then when I was 47 years old, I refused to go to the French and Indian War. And of the other wars that was in Boston, there was only one war that I went to, and that war I led 17 troops. And I died in 1799. And I was the first president of the United States, and you can find me at a special building in Washington and a special cliff.
Good job, Jaycob.
Imagine having to go all on a very long journey to warn the colonists of a British attack. Well, that's exactly what I did. My name is Harley. I was born on January 1st of 1735 in Boston, Massachusetts. My mom was Deborah and my dad was Apollos. I was a very intelligent student in the North Reading School. I was married to Richard Revere, had 5 little boys and 3 little girls. I participated for the British against the French and Indian War. I was a silversmith because I worked with silver and platinum. There, I had a mission to warn the colonists of a British attack. So that's exactly what I did. I went on the countryside with 3 other men, just telling the colonists of the British attack. So then I went up to the church side to see what sea the British were coming from, because I knew they were coming by sea. But on the way, the British patrol captured me. I died on May 10th of 1818 of natural causes at age 83.
And there's still a lot of ways you can remember because I became a symbol of all these many countries. Thank you for your time.
Imagine you have become the first of the first ladies in America. And you have to fight on the front lines with George Washington. Crazy, right? But that's what happened to me, Martha Washington. I was born on May 2nd, 1731. I was the oldest of 8 children. And they were making me the good and wise person I am today. I got married at the age of 18 to Daniel Cotas Parquet. Later we had 4 children. Two of them died. One was 1 and one was 3.5. Later, Daniel died after a brief cold. I was devastated with the death of my husband. 2 years later, I found true love, George Washington. We got married and had no children of our own. We lived on Mount Vernon. We lived on Mount Vernon with a bunch of children living on the mountain. We raised our 2 grandchildren because sadly my 2 remaining children had died / their parents. I fought on the front lines with George Washington to help. And when he got asked to become the first president, he accepted, and I became the first of first ladies ever. My husband died 2 months before me, and I died in June 1802 at the age of 70. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Have you ever given a $100 bill and better yet you have been Franklin? Here's my story, me, Ben Franklin. I was born on January 17, 1706, and I lived in Boston, Massachusetts. I had 17 brothers and sisters, and I only could attend school for 2 years. Yeah, I didn't make a lot of money, so that's why. So then my brother James, he walked out of the country. 3 years later, he's on a newspaper show. A couple of years go by, and it's 1727. That's when I saw a group of people who wanted to improve themselves. But one day I couldn't afford, so I established the Library Company in Philadelphia in 1730. In 1736, I started my first fire company in Philadelphia in 1706. 1752, I got famous for my kite flying experiment, and then I did something crazy. I traveled across the Atlantic Ocean 8 times. Wow! I died on April 17, 1790, and I was only 84 years old. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you.
Good job.
Just imagine hiding from Indians your entire life. That's what I did. I'm Ann Bailey. I was born 1742 in Liverpool, England. After my husband died, I avenged his death by acting like a man for a little while. I bought clothes like a man, and when I did that, I left my son when he was 7 with the next door neighbors. My parents died October 10th when I died in Ohio, in my son's backyard, where my remains were left and buried for 72 years. Then the last year of the 72 years, I got undug, my bones got undug and put back in England. Thank you.
I'm not from England. Hi, my name is King Justus. I was born in 1738 with a disease that eventually made me deaf blind, and sometimes I would lose my mind. I got married in 1759 to a lovely lady named Lennox. I became the King of England in 1759. In 1760, at the age of 26, I like being a king right in the middle of a war. The British were having with the French. French and England wanted to own all the land in the world. It had cost England a lot of money to get this for the colonists and protect them against the French. And then I felt that they should pay a large share of the cost. The colonies didn't agree with the tax. It wasn't that they should pay a large share of the cost. It wasn't so much that they didn't think it was fair for me to make all decisions without giving them something to say. And I died at the age of 82, the year of 1820. Thank you.
Good job.
Imagine it's winter time and you are getting food and water for 7,000 men and trying to save them at the exact same time. If you think that's crazy, well, I did it. My name is Elizabeth Bergen and I was the youngest patriot. I was born in 1760. My parents were Thomas Bergen and Alice Bergen, and our side of the family was the patriots. During the American Revolution, I saved 7,000 men from prisonership because they were treated better. And I was an American Revolution spy for George Washington. And I was a mother of 3 children, and my husband died in the war. I died in 1787, but there's no memories of me. I hope you like my speech. Thank you.
Good job, honey.
Imagine boarding a boat, then you dump out lots of tea. You might think that's crazy, but that's what I did. My name is Samuel Adams. I was born on September 22nd, 1722. I'm related to John Adams. I set up my own businesses, but they failed. I graduated from Boston Harvard University in 1734 with a degree. English government was trying to hang me for treason because they thought I was a troublemaker. In the American Revolution, I led the Sons of Liberty to the Boston Tea Party, and we dumped out 342 chests of tea. I died on October 2nd, 1803. You can remember me by my statue in Boston, Massachusetts, and in the Statue Museum. Thank you.
Imagine volunteering at the age of 18 to deliver a secret message. But if you get caught, you go. A soldier catches you on the way and brings you to a random farmhouse. Sounds pretty right? Well, that's what I did. I was born in June 1765, grew up in South Carolina, was a patriot. My parents are John and Emily Ryder. In June 1781, I delivered a secret message to General Sumter. On the way, I got called by a soldier. At that time, I was really bad at lying. So he took me to a farmhouse to find a girl to soak me. In that time, I split up and swallowed that nut. There's no ways you can remember me. I died in 1889.
Imagine you're in the American Revolution Imagine you're in America fighting in the American Revolution and you get hurt, but you recover and help on the war. Because that's exactly what I did. Hi, my name is Mark-Lee D. Lafayette. I was born July 6, 1758. My father was killed in the 7 Years' War when I was 2 years old. When I was 13, my mother died, so was my grandfather, leaving me an orphan. When I was 14, I joined the French Army and heard about the American Revolution. I actually immigrated, I went over there illegally with 6,000 French troops also. I helped in the American Revolution as an unpaid volunteer, using my money and time to help. During the American Revolution, I was injured in a battle that helped recover and won the war, and helped win the war. I also met my good friend George Washington. When I went back to France, I had a son and I actually named him after George Washington. When I was in France, after I came back, I helped in the French Revolution. But I was put in jail for 3 years before being accused. While I was in jail, I learned that half my relatives have either been executed or forced to leave France, and that half my will had been stolen. I died May 20th, 1830, and was buried in France, but had American soil from Bunker Hill on my grave to symbolize that I would be hero to the world. Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Singh, but you can call me Betty. I was born on July 19, 1765 in West Virginia. I am the youngest out of the family. My oldest brother found land in the Ohio Valley shared with Native Americans. Native paired with the British during the American Revolution. I was 16 years old when I was in the Battle of Fort Henry. I went 45 yards to get gunpowder during the battle. I was not hurt and was able to save the battle. I married 2 people, had 4 kids with the first husband and second kids with the second husband. I died on August 23rd, 2030, buried in Martins Ferry, Ohio. Great nephew wrote a book in my honor. My family, some parts of Lincoln County. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is George Washington, and yes, I was the first president of the United States of America. You might have noticed my face on a dollar bill. I was born on February 22, 1732 in Westmoreland County, Virginia. I was the oldest. After me was my 3 brothers and 2 sisters. My father died when I was 11 years old. I had to self-educate myself, but I did not let that get in the way because I still enjoyed my childhood. I am a political leader, a military general, a statesman, and a founding father of the United States of America. I died December 14th, 1799 in Count Verne, Virginia. It began to snow. I got a sore throat. Later on, that turned into a throat infection. Thank you.
Good job, Zavre.
I am a slave and I hate being a slave. I was born in 1723. My name is Crispus Attucks. I was the son of a man who came from Africa. I lived in a town in the outside of Boston. I ran away from my master and learned to buy and sell goods. I was at a pub with my friends when 3 big stores came and looked in for trouble. It was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I was the first person killed at the Boston Massacre. Thank you.
Good job.
Urban Soldier Generals for Armies. That's me. My name is Jimmy George Rogers Clark, and I serve for the Army. I was born in Charlottesville, Virginia in 1752. I became a lover of frontier life. I had no kids, and the reason why I became famous is because I led 175 men to the coast of Kasia, and I led 127 men to the fences. Fun facts about me is that I command small armies, and me and my soldiers went through 180 miles through the flooded lands by the winter. Because of my exploits, the Americans were able to claim the Northern Territory. I died on February 13th, 1818. Thank you.
My name is Princess. I was born in 1735. I was almost 100 years and died in 1735. I have 8 children. I could not read, but I could fight and hunt well. I live in Georgia. One day a tourist soldier looked into my house using a hoe. I threw wash soap in his eyes. I told the plans to the tourist soldier. Also, I dressed like a man and spotted tourist soldiers. One day some tourist soldiers want food. I give them food to trap them. I took their guns while they were eating. I hit one shoulder. My husband come in. We hung the other shoulder. That is why I'm famous.